Hi, my name's Katie.
And I'm David, and this is our tiny house, Little Red. We built it in 2016 and lived in it for 2.5 years with our oldest daughter, Nola, and our dogs, Zeus and Tucker.
And now we're excited to share it with others by renting it out on Airbnb.
I think what's really unique about the tiny house and renting a tiny house on Airbnb is it's not just a place to stay, but it's also an experience at some level. And so people are booking it because they want to come try staying in a tiny house, see what it's like to live in a space that small for a short time. And they often are really excited to share those experiences they're having with us because they're like, oh, you built it, oh, and you lived in it, oh, for 2.5 years, that's a long time, you know. And yeah, just have those conversations with people because they're excited about this experience that they've had that's relatively new for them, and it's just always fun for us to share our experiences and you know, why we built it and why we lived in it for so long and why we're sharing it now. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It was a challenge to fit the tiny house into the space where we live, but when we purchased the house, we did think about how we could position it and how we could have it have its own space, so that there's a yard for the tiny house and a yard for us, and an entrance for the tiny house and an entrance for the rest of the house. And I think that's been key. And then we've, you know, positioned, we have kind of a bamboo wall that, you know, helps keep our privacy and their privacy so that they feel comfortable being close to our house and we feel comfortable being close to that house as well. So you're close enough to see each other but also have the privacy you need. Yeah.
I love its proximity. It makes it easier just to run into people when they're coming and going without being invasive. You know, you can say a quick hello, and usually people have a comment like, oh, we love it, you know, or a question that goes along with that, and it's fun. It's really enjoyable just like making that connection.
We decided to go with a 24-foot trailer for our tiny house, which ends up being about 200 square feet of space, and which seemed about right for our 2 dogs and with a kid on the way. We also built the deck when we built the tiny house, and we built that to be thin enough to fit on a flatbed trailer so that when we went from one place to the other, we could haul it along behind and put it somewhere when we got there, reset it up.
And overall, the entire project cost us about $25,000, all said and done, using a mixture of new materials and as many used materials as we could find.
Okay, you want to show them inside?
Let's go.
See you later.
Okay, I'll give you a little tour of the inside. You'd think it wouldn't take very long, but there's a lot of thought that goes into all the little pieces that make up a tiny house because every inch is super important. And for the Airbnb, we thought it was really important, for one, to have a couple of bedding options. So we do have a loft with a full-size bed, but this couch pulls out to a queen, which is really nice for people that maybe don't want to climb the stairs. They're a little bit steep, or just want a bigger bed that's on the first floor. We have a TV. It also pulls out and swivels around, so you can put it in the direction that you prefer. You can hang your coats here. And when we lived in this with 2 dogs and we had a daughter, we have 2 now, but 1 at the time, there's a hook on the top, and we actually had a hammock hanging. It was about 3 feet or so off of the ground, and she slept in that for the first 18 months of her life. And then when she outgrew that, we transitioned to a toddler bed and then eventually transitioned again to this couch. So it has changed a lot. I would say this is my favorite layout as far as living space. It has the most feel-good area. We also have a bay window. Doesn't seem like it's much, but it made us feel good. It made the space feel more livable. It was a place to put plants. It was a place to have more windows and just kind of let some more light into the place, and also was a nice feature from the outside. We really wanted this house to feel like a house and not necessarily just a tiny home on wheels. We wanted to be able to park it and when you're inside, sometimes you forget that you're in a really small space. And for Airbnb, we have a bunch of books over here about the area. So if you like mountain biking or hiking, if you want to just know more about designing and constructing your own tiny house, that's definitely all stuff that's here. It kind of relates to the tiny house. We do have a lot of people actually that stay here that are interested in what it feels like to live in a tiny house. Maybe they want to build their own, or they're just curious. And so before they embark on that path, they stay here with us and they can experience it and find out what they like and don't like. I wish I could hear all the little conversations that happen in here. But I know that that book is actually pretty well used because the pages are all torn up on the inside, so it's good. One of our other favorite features of this house, we have a wood stove. It burns about 8-inch long logs. And we always get it going. It's all set up for when guests arrive. All they have to do is literally light a match and it should go up. It's a second source of heating. We also have radiant floor heating throughout the house. So this is just a nice alternative. And honestly, it's what we preferred when we were living in here. It was nice to just have that heat and cozy up by the fire. Here's our dining area. It's small but efficient. The table moves out so that you can easily let yourself in, and there's actually 2 benches. If you come with a lot of things that you need to store, you can use the space, and also all of our bedding for the pull-out couch is all kept in there. The table is made out of a slab of local juniper, local to Central Oregon. We were excited to find it because it fits perfectly. We didn't even have to cut it. And it has a nice angle to it. A lot of people are, especially these days, looking for a place to work remotely. So we do have Wi-Fi, and a lot of people have found this space to be really conducive to working home away from home. Transitioning to the kitchen. We tried to make everything as fully functional as you would have in a house in just a smaller space. So we have a full oven. You can make lasagna, you can make cookies. A full sink. This was also important. I feel like a lot of small spaces skimp on the sink, and it was really important for me to have a full sink so I could do dishes and not have water spilling and splashing all over the place. On the other side, we have a gas cooktop. It has 2 size burners, and we also found that's really all we use. 2 pots can get everything done that you need to get done to cook a meal. Our fridge was also another big decision. We went with the fridge on top and the freezer on the bottom so that we weren't always bending over to get into our refrigerator, since we use that a lot more. We store all of our knives on a magnetic spot up on the wall there, which was also nice when we had young children in here so that everything is up and away from them. So we do have an empty space down here. In the wintertime, we actually have a dehumidifier that we store under here, and it helps keep the air fresh. When you have everything closed up, everyone breathing inside sometimes causes a lot of condensation on the windows. So during the summertime, a lot of people use it to put a dog bed inside. And back here is the bathroom. So on the right side, we have a fully functioning shower. It has a removable nozzle, which we thought was nice for bathing children and dogs. And on the other side is a sink, a flush toilet, and all of our towels are kept on the right side of the sink. There is a tankless water heater. It's an on-demand water heater, so you never have to worry about running out of hot water. Oh, and a pocket door, so you can open and close the door without using a ton of space within the house. We built the house on San Juan Island in Washington State, and one of my favorite features is the Hickory Cabinets. My father built these for us. It was his contribution, one of many, to making this dream a reality. And this would have taken us a lot longer to complete if we had not had his help. So the drawers, they're beautiful, and they're fully functional. We have all the bowls, every kind of bowl that you would need, and some Tupperware down below. Pots and pans. There's a crock pot. We have our toaster, has its own special place. You just have to pull it out and plug it in around the corner. And a French press for making coffee. So when we were living in the tiny house, these 3 drawers were everything. Our daughter had this drawer. All of her everything was in there, and then I had the 2 bottom drawers. So all of my clothes were all in these 2 drawers, and then David's clothes were all upstairs in a bin. And then around the corner here, we have a cubby for keeping your shoes just out of the space where you're walking in. Our idea was kind of to have an open area so that we weren't tripping on shoes when we were in our house. And then upstairs is the loft. The railing coming up is a copper pipe. We thought it looked nice. We liked the color of copper. We have some copper features on the outside of the house, so it was just a way to kind of tie it all together. This is the loft. I think my favorite feature of the entire house is our skylight up here. So you can lay in bed and look at the stars or the trees or whatever happens to be outside the window. It's a relaxing space. It feels like it's away from the rest of the house, even though you can hear everything that's going on. So we tried to just make it cozy and clean and serene and a place that people would feel comfortable being. All the windows in the loft open, which is also a nice feature when you're sleeping up here on a hot day. You can easily cool the place out. All the heat rises and just goes right out these windows, and you get a nice cool breath of fresh air. Yeah, we're very excited just to have this space being used because we're obviously not living in it anymore, and it would just be sitting here waiting for a few sprinkle of friends and family, which is great. But so far, everyone that has stayed here has given us great reviews, and it's been an experience for them, which is the whole point. And we love hearing from people. This is kind of one of our treasured little books. A lot of people have left just some different things. Someone left a picture of their dog sitting on the stair right here. And it's just great. It just warms your heart. And another couple said, "This was our first tiny home experience and we loved it. Thank you. We hope to come back soon." So it's just been really amazing to hear everyone's experience. And for me personally, I'm a stay-at-home mom with 2 girls, 4 and 18 months. And for me, this place, taking care of it and just having the experience of meeting people has given me a lot of purpose and allows me to have a little bit of income without having a full-time job, which has been really important for our family, and I enjoy it. I love it. So I'm really thankful that it has all worked out the way that it has.
We got married, and for our honeymoon we hiked the PCT. And when you're hiking, you have a lot of time to talk. And so one of the things we discussed was, what we're going to do afterward, what that would look like. And one of the things that popped up, a couple times was building a tiny house or renovating an Airstream or something like that.
So we finished the Pacific Crest Trail in Canada, and we hitched a ride from Manning Park all the way to Vancouver, BC, where we caught a ferry to San Juan Island, where my parents have a place and a big shop where it was a perfect spot to build a tiny house.
And that became this transitional project that allowed us to do something before we got back into the real world as it is, and also help provide a place for us to live. And it just felt like it gave us this huge flexibility and was a great investment of our time, and something that could still be valuable later on. And this turned out to be that way, so that's good. Before we started Airbnb, we talked for a long time about long-term versus short-term rental and which way we wanted to go. And that was the huge driver, was just that if our parents came to visit, or our brother or friends or whatever, that they had that place to stay and we could block out that time, was just too important to do the long-term rental.
We bought a big house, but our big house is still just 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It allowed us actually to buy a smaller house, you know, which we wanted. We didn't want a huge house.
We bought a house
Exterior.
that fit us instead of a house that fit us, plus an extra room in case people came.
I enjoy seeing other people's excitement and pleasure out of what we've created over there. I do think it's a great way to extend the life of a tiny house. I think the biggest benefit of hosting on Airbnb, there's obviously the financial side of things. It is my job, and because I'm staying at home with the kids, then I'm allowed that flexibility to do a quick cleaning during nap time and just have a little bit more purpose in my life, not having a job and a little variety.
You can make a very good.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Patreon for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.